Okay, today's video, I'm actually going to bring you guys some value. I'm going to talk about planting by crop development, but first I just want to address so many of the YouTube haters out there that seem to be so offended by a greenhouse in my front yard. And it's funny because nobody in my neighborhood is opposed to it whatsoever, besides one person who might have complained to the city, but the city supports it, so I'm allowed to have this. But here is a couple points I want to make about things that somebody might find objectionable in a front yard. First, I want to say the greenhouse is temporary. It's going to be down by mid-May, okay? So it's a caterpillar tunnel. They're temporary. But on a principle level, what's the difference between a greenhouse in my front yard or a temporary construction site on one of my neighbor's properties, or a trailer full of rubbish and tree prunings in another neighbor's yard, or an ugly vehicle, or kids' toys in the front yard? What's the difference? There's no difference. It's the same thing because it's going to come down eventually. I know that my neighbors have been doing construction for the last 3 months, and that's okay. Is it unsightly? Yes, it's unsightly. Do I care? No. So why do you care? Why do people care so much about something that has no effect on their life? It's crazy. Like, we live in this culture of outrage where we have it so good in the Western world and North America that we just have to look under rocks for things to be outraged about. So that's it. Greenhouse is staying up. I could care less if a bunch of YouTube haters don't like it. Deal with it. So for the part of the video where I'm going to show you guys something valuable that took me a long time to figure out is what I call planting by crop development. So instead of just succession planting based on a timeline, we're succession planting based on how a crop develops before I start the other one. So I just wanted to show you in this greenhouse to show you how it's coming along. We've got some lettuce transplanted in here, overwintered spinach. This bed has yet to be planted out. I'm going to show you the other two, and then I'm going to go to another plot and show you exactly what I talk about, or what I mean when I say crop development. I'm in one of the shortest caterpillar tunnels, it's just 25 feet long. And I wanted to show you something. I'm going to go to another plot and show you it in more detail. But here, I've planted these 4 beds here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 beds of radishes, 2 beds of turnips. So they haven't germinated yet. And this is the time of year where we're not going to be on weekly rotations of crops. The main reason being is that the days are now getting exponentially longer as we approach the summer solstice. So every day they're getting minutes longer. And it presents a challenge in the predictability of your crops, because you could plant one crop 1 week, like say for example I could plant radishes this week, and then I could wait a week and plant radishes again. They would both be ready at the same time. Why is that? It's because the days were longer on the second week that I planted than they were on the first week, so they actually catch up to each other. So this presents a logistical challenge, and this is why at the very beginning of this season, primarily from any stuff I'm going to plant in the winter and just past the spring equinox going into, and the reason I'm just using those as a frame of reference is because they're different for people in different parts of the world. So maybe about halfway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice, I'm going to plant by crop development. So these radishes and turnips I've planted here, I'm not going to do another planting until these ones come up out of the ground. And sometimes I'll even wait till they pop out 2 true leaves. Then I know that's the time to start the next crop, and then that way I'll have a decent amount of space between them. So the way we figure out how much we're going to use is I basically try to calculate, and I'm still learning this actually. This is something I learn every year, or learn better and better every year, is how much crop I'm going to need and how much crop will get me between those 2 successions. So in the summertime, and for most of the season, it's really simple. I just plant what I need each week. So if I harvest 2 beds of radishes each week, I will plant 2 beds of radishes each week. But in the shoulder seasons, when I'm doing this planting by crop development, it's different because I don't have it as predictably. So I will plant out a group of beds at once, and then plant out a group of beds again. And so if I only need 2 beds of radishes, if I can still sell 2 beds of radishes per week, I'll maybe give myself 2 weeks in between, though the succession could be slightly tighter or slightly more. So I'll plant say 4 beds of radishes for that time, and then I'll wait till those ones come up and I see some growth action there, then I'll plant another 4 beds. So that can work because things aren't growing so quickly. In the summertime, if you wanted to plant 4 weeks of radishes at once and then wait 2 weeks or something, or 4 weeks to plant another one, all of those would come on at the same time and they'd get mature too quickly. That's what happens in the summer. In the springtime, it doesn't happen so much. You can have 2 weeks of radishes planted together at the same time, and they'll sit very well, or they'll sit better for those 2 weeks that you need them. They won't get mature too quickly. One of the advantages of these caterpillar tunnels is that if I get to a point where all these are mature and I'm going, okay, I don't want them to grow much faster, I want them to stagnate in the ground a little bit, then I can just take the plastic off the tunnel so I can slow down their growth, development. So let's go check out the other plot and I'll show you more what I mean. Okay, so here in one of these tunnels at our flagship plot, and we've got our spinach has emerged, so it's got its cotyledons. This is a bed of tatsoi next to me. It's just at the cotyledon stage as well. And then this is arugula over here. It's also at the cotyledon stage. So it's emerged, but it's not really going to take off just yet until it gets its true leaves. So I think what's going to happen now is it's a Wednesday today. I'm going to wait until next week, Monday or Tuesday, until I plant the next succession of these crops. I think that will give me enough time, and by then I'll probably start to see the true leaves coming through. So that's my sign of where I want to start again. And you can do this however you like. I just find that if I wait till the very true leaves start to come through, that's going to give me enough of a difference between this crop and the next, because the crop that I will plant next Monday will grow faster than this one. And so that's really what this is all about, is making sure there is a definitive difference between this crop size, so that I don't have too much crop at once that's too mature. So I hope you guys have found that helpful. If you have, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the videos with your friends, and we'll talk to you soon.